Alright, so I'm going to be working on this Dell Alienware M15R3. As you can see, this fan is going crazy. Ooh. I think this fan's going to need to be replaced. It's hitting something. You can see if I hold it like this, it spins smooth, so that's interesting. But yeah, anyways, let me turn it off and I'll be back. Alright, so let's go ahead and take this thing apart. So first thing we got is the battery we got to disconnect. Alright, so let's zoom in here. Battery connector right here. It's a little bit difficult to remove. Try and get as close as you can to the connector as possible, and then kind of go, to me I call this side to side, but it's more like up and down. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. I call it side to side. Alright, so there you go. Just keep wiggling it and eventually you can pull it out. After doing that, you want to open up the laptop and then press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds. Alright, this will drain any residual power and will make it a lot safer to work on. And some people ask me, do I need to do that? I mean, there's a lot of things you don't need to do, but you can destroy your computer not doing this. So if you want to take that risk, go ahead, but it's only 15 seconds, so hold the power button, and then, yeah. All right, so we'll hold it a few more seconds. Okay, I know I probably already held it more than 15 seconds, but here we go. All right, then we got this little connector we need to remove as well. So again, grab as close as you can to the connector and kind of just wiggle it. Don't pull too hard because you don't want to break the cabling, and there we go. All right, if you didn't already, there's a screw here and here that you need to remove, and then there's two screws on the back. All right, there's one here and then another one over here. So remove those two. Let's zoom out a bit so you can see what's going on. All right, after you remove all of that, you should be able to pull this cover off. So just grab this. I don't know if the customer brought this to before, so you kind of just wiggle it. It kind of holds on quite a bit tight. All right, so there we go. I don't know if the person that the customer brought this to before did something, because the fans just go full speed right away. So I have a feeling that they probably took things out and maybe they didn't redo the thermal paste. Maybe they undid the thermal paste and then didn't redo it. So yeah, let's go ahead and take things out, because I've never seen them use masking tape inside of a computer. So I have a feeling that the person that worked on this did something. Yeah, that's weird. Okay, there's masking tape here. Let's peel this off. Okay, so this used to be the adhesive, but as you can see, obviously it's not sticky anymore. We're going to peel this out as well. Okay, so we'll grab this connector and pull that, and then there's a little metal latch here that you need to flip up, so flip that up, and then you kind of pull that back. Okay, and now we can move that out of the way. We got another connector here. I believe that's for the charge port. Okay, so same thing, we'll kind of grab underneath, get as close as you can to the connector, and we're going to kind of wiggle this again, and there we go. Okay, got to peel up the adhesive, there we go. Pull that out of the way. What we need to do is we need to disconnect or remove the whole motherboard, and then we got to get to this fan. So this fan is actually a little bit more wobbly, so I think what's happening is it's wobbling like that as it spins. In some cases we can add grease and it might get it working again, so we'll see. Hopefully that's the case. Otherwise we're gonna have to see about replacing some other stuff. Let's go ahead and pull the battery out. Yeah, if replacing the grease doesn't work, then we're gonna have to basically replace the fan. Okay, so we'll take that out. The customer told me that the other person told them they have to replace the whole heatsink, which doesn't make sense because you can just replace the fan. Maybe they don't know that you can just pull the fan out. I don't know. But anyways, let's go ahead and continue removing all these screws. It looks like there's 4 screws on the bottom here of the battery. And then you got 1, 2, and I think 3 screws. Oh, actually 4 screws on the, only 3. Did they lose a screw here? A screw is missing from here. So I don't know if the person that worked on this before lost a screw or what. But I only see 3 screws, and it looks like there should be 4. So, yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and lift this up and then pull this out. There's the battery. And it does look like they were touching all over underneath here, so I have a feeling they did take this all out, and then they lost the screws. Okay. I could be wrong. I don't know. That's not from the bottom cover, because the bottom cover only puts screws on the side. So I don't know, they lost a screw at one point. Okay, so we got all these other pieces we need to disconnect. All right, let's go ahead and continue removing everything. There's a lot of little pieces, so keep that in mind. Okay, let's go ahead and undo this piece here, 2 screws. This is all so far with a PH1 JIS1 screwdriver, in case you're wondering. Okay, I always like to keep all the screws and everything in order so I don't mix things up. Alright, if you don't know how, I put them flat side down like that on my desk in the pattern I remove them. So yeah, alright, let's go ahead and continue removing screws. Lots of screws here, so hopefully you guys don't mix them up. Again, you want to keep them all in order. Okay, we got the wireless antennas, or the wireless card is soldered to this board here. And there's this metal plate on top, so we need to take that out. We'll set that aside. And then the antennas come out from here. You go from the tail and just pull straight up, okay? Just like that, and there we go. Right, now we need to unroute it and take that out. Need to go underneath the fan thing and go over here. Okay, so move that out of the way. All right, there's a lot of screws. There's another one over here. Okay, again, keep them all in order. Got another one down here. I don't know how many of these screws were lost or if anything's out of order, so I'm just removing what I see. If your computer has extra screws that I'm not removing, keep that in mind. It might be because the other person that worked on it lost it. So I flip this latch up. Go ahead and pull this cable out. It says J power, so I'm assuming that means it's for the power button. I think it goes underneath this fan all the way up to the power button there. We got the SSD here we're going to remove. Okay, then we can lift this whole thing up and wiggle it out. So I'm going to leave the heatsink attached to it. Okay, I'll set that aside. All right, we got the connector here that goes to the touchpad. Flip that latch up, and then you can go ahead and pull this out. Okay, just like that. Got 3 screws under here. Okay, get all of those out. Okay, this piece likely comes off. Yep, set that aside. All right, we're getting there. We don't need to remove this board, so we're going to leave those screws alone. This is for the Ethernet port, USB port, and headphone jack. All right, so that's what that little metal, this little clip that was over here, or that cable, that's what that's for. It also is for the speaker connection here, and that speaker has a wire that goes all the way along the bottom to the other speaker on this side. Okay. All right, fan connector, I'm gonna wiggle that, pull that out. Another screw up here. We do have the fan screws in here. There's 1 screw here. Oh, I was wrong. We do need to take that other board out. Okay, so what did I just take out here? The fan screw. Okay, I'm confusing myself. Okay, here we go. We do have to take this board out because the fan goes underneath there. So let's go ahead and take that out. It's only 2 screws. We also need to disconnect the speaker cable. Just like that. Then we should be able to take this out. Just lift up and it comes out just like that. Okay. All right. There's 1 more fan screw here. Okay, and then we got several screws towards the back here. I think just those 3. All right, there we go. And oh, 1 more here. A lot of screws. Okay, are we missing anything? I'm assuming there might be some cables under here. All right, there's a cable here. We need to flip this latch up and pull this out. Come on, there we go. Okay, it looks like this cable actually goes underneath to the keyboard here, so we don't need to worry about that. This keyboard, oops, sorry. So this is keyboard backlight connector, I'm pretty sure, goes to this board. Keyboard actual connector goes to this board, and then this cable brings all of that to the motherboard or logic board. All right. So let me see, is there anything else I need to disconnect from here? I think I got all the screws out. Okay, we'll disconnect the one fan connector on this side as well. All right, and remember, this is the bad fan. Let's see, can we lift this up? It's kind of heavy. I don't know if something else is caught down there. Nope. Okay, make sure these cables are out of the way. Carefully grab from the edges like this and lift it out. And here we go. We have the whole motherboard out. So we'll put this down. We'll set the... So this is the whole keyboard assembly, if you want to see that underneath. Okay. So there's what that looks like. So the keyboard does look removable, bunch of screws holding on underneath. But if for some reason you need to remove the keyboard, there's that. This is the power button is underneath here. You can see the wires, how they're connected there. Interesting. Okay. So we'll set that aside for now. All right, as for the fan, again, I don't know if they undid the, I think they might have, because I do see the screws, they look a little bit worn down. So most likely I'm gonna have to take that out, sadly. Okay, let's see if we can get the fan out. So there's a few screws here. We're gonna switch over to a PH0 JS0 screwdriver. And we'll undo these screws. There's one here, one here. Let me see how wobbly that is. And the last one here. All right, so now you can see the fan actually just falls out. Okay. And I don't know why the customer or the other person told them that the heatsink needs to be replaced, unless they damaged something in here. I don't know. I don't see anything. There's a slight dent here, but that shouldn't be enough to require replacement. Okay, so this fan is what needs to be replaced. What is this black stuff here? I don't know where that came from. Let's see. It wipes off. I don't even know. Oh yeah, you guys can see it. I don't know what that black stuff is. Where'd that come from? Is that on this board? Is it? I don't know. Now there's another one over here. What is that black gunk? I don't know. Anyways, let's go ahead and see if we can. You can see these propellers. They're pretty wobbly. So I'm going to try and pop them off. The way I do that is I go from basically the center ring. You see where this circle is. So on the other side, you can see that ring. I'm going to push evenly on both sides. So you want to make sure you're like right across. Don't try and do it like one diagonal, like one over here and one here, because you want to push it straight out. Okay, so we're going to try and push this straight out if we can. I hope. Yep, there we go. So we're able to pop that out. I'm going to try and clean the inside of this. It's a little bit gross. It shouldn't affect anything, but we'll just clean it since we have it open. Okay. And if we're lucky, that should be all that needs to be done. Okay, that stuff doesn't clean off. But I mean, what we're going to do is we're going to add grease to this, and then if we're lucky, that should be all that needs to be done. Otherwise, we need to get a replacement fan here. So, I don't know, the person said that the other repair shop told them they need a replacement heatsink. Excuse me. I don't know why they would need a replacement heatsink. It doesn't seem like... Okay, so I was just cleaning this. You can see how gross that is. It left some black gunk there. Okay, and then I'm also going to clean this off. I'm going to go over the trash can, and I'm just going to clean this a little bit if I can, just to kind of get some of the gunk off the blades, although it's not too bad. Maybe they already kind of cleaned it. I think this person either has some air fresheners or vape or something, because what happens is the grease, it burns, and then that smoke that comes out is actually grease. And over time, it kind of gets sucked into the fan, the propellers and stuff, and then that's what causes it to get all bad. It becomes sticky, and then that stickiness causes it to basically catch as it's spinning, and that's what makes it do that buzzing sound. Anyways, I'm going to turn this. I just got some motor oil here, and we're just going to drip it in. Okay. And some people will ask, like, can they use WD-40 and that stuff? Don't use WD-40. WD-40 is not actually meant to be used as a lubricant for moving parts and things. All right, it's meant as a degreaser. Or not a degreaser, but I mean, it does act as one. It's a water displacement, so it's supposed to actually push moisture out of components. Right, so this, we just gotta line it back up. Why isn't it going in right? Gotta line this back up and then push it back down. Gonna spin it around a little bit. Okay, we're gonna clean it up and then we're gonna do it again. So we're gonna push it back out. Just like that. Okay, now that we've got the oil in there, we're gonna clean this off. And you don't need a crazy amount of oil. You can see how all that black stuff, oops, sorry. You can see all that black stuff is coming out with the grease. Yeah, that's what's causing the problems in here. So the grease inside got bad, and then it's causing friction inside, and it's just getting worse and worse. So try and get all that oil out. We're going to put some more oil in there, and then we're just going to continue the process. Let's drip a little more oil in. Come on. Let me get a little more, actually. Okay. I'll put this back on again. Spin it around. Okay. I mean, it's still going to be a bit wobbly. That's because it was getting worn out over time spinning with that extra friction. Okay. And there's not really much that can be done about that other than replacing the fan. But most likely, this is going to solve the issue. Because usually that sound is from the friction. So even if it's wobbly, unless the propeller blades are hitting like here, unless the propeller blades are hitting here or inside on this portion, then usually this redoing the grease will help. You can see how it's a lot less black now. Okay. There's also some hairs that were stuck in there. Okay, we'll clean that off. Interesting how squeaky this thing is. Okay. All right. I'm going to get a little more grease. Do it one more time just to be safe. Any grease that's meant for moving components should be okay. You don't have to use motor oil, but I find that most people have access to motor oil. If you're saying, what do you mean, I don't have a car? If your parents have a car, not including EVs, because EVs you can't easily get the grease out, but or most of them you can't, right? But if your neighbor has like a gas engine car, ask them if you can pull the dipstick out. It'll get you a drip of oil, and then you can just put that in there. Even used motor oil will work. Okay, I mean, if you have like some lying around, or if your neighbor has some lying around, like some new one, ask for like a little drop. You don't really need much. Okay. Don't use cooking oil. Cooking oil will turn gooey much quicker. Okay, it's not meant as a long-term thing. All right, and there we go. The oil, you can see, much cleaner. There's no gray black stuff there. Okay, so now we'll just put a small drop back. Don't put a lot this time, because this time we're not trying to wash it out. We just want it to stay lubricated. Okay. And you can also, if you want, put a little on the tip here, just so it gets to the bottom. All right, then we'll just get this back in, push that down. All right, and let's see. Now we just got to reassemble this. I'm gonna first take it apart and then double check the thermal paste. So this is now going to be a thermal paste job instead of just the fan, because the fan is spinning like crazy even though it's just starting up. So unless there's some setting that the customer put on there, which I kind of doubt it, to make it spin like 100% speed with no load. Some of these gaming laptops, they have that like turbo mode thing that lets you do that, but I don't think they did that on here. So to avoid having to take it apart a second time, we're going to go ahead and check the thermal paste first. Okay, so we're going to line this back up, flip this over, okay, and then we're going to get this back in. Let me get that back on. Okay, this doesn't have anything that lines it up, so we're going to have to just put one screw, line it up, and then work our way around. Alright, so I'm going to get this screw in first. I like to twist it backwards to feel it fall into place. In this case, it's not really doing that, but there we go. We'll loosely fit that. Then we'll kind of work over here, find the hole, and same thing. Okay. Over here, same thing. There we go. And the last one. Also, if you didn't notice, I'm not tightening it all the way down yet. Okay. Now that we got all 4 screws in, we can go ahead and tighten them down. You don't want to tighten this too hard because it's just screwing into the plastic, and if you twist it too hard, you'll strip the plastic. Okay, so there we go. Alright, let's go ahead now and check the thermal paste, because I have a feeling again that the other place removed the heatsink and then didn't reapply the thermal paste or something, because the fan is spinning crazy with nothing at all. Okay, this tab I believe is so you can more easily lift up the heatsink, but let's go ahead and undo these. Okay, oh, the screws aren't held in with washers, so make sure not to lose them and keep them all in order. 2, 3. Oh, there's a lot of screws. They do number these, so when you put it back, you do need to put it back in a certain order to get it to squeeze the paste and stuff down properly. Okay, there's another one down here. Another one down here. Also, if you want to separate this USB port, the 2 USB ports, sorry, you can't even see what I'm looking at. So if you want to separate these 2 USB ports, the SD card and the wireless antenna, if for some reason this board's having issue, or even this SSD or the power button's having problems, you can actually replace this board. There's 4 screws here, and then you can pull this away. It has little pins that hold it in place. So I'm not going to take that out because I don't want to mess with something that's not having problems. But yeah, just in case you wanted to know. Okay, let's get these other 4 screws out. Yeah, pretty sure the customer or the other tech took this out. I think they also got this, which is probably thermal paste, onto the fan. Let's see what they did here. There's one more screw under here. Okay, and let's carefully pull this up. Usually it's difficult to just, you don't want to pull straight up. You want to actually rotate this a little bit, so kind of twist it, but in this one the board's kind of hard to hold still. You want to hold the board still and then kind of rotate it slowly. Okay, this will loosen up the thermal paste. You can see how it's getting more wiggly. Okay, you don't want to just pull straight up because you'll bend these pipes. Okay, we're going to go from this side now to the same thing. And then once it becomes really wiggly, then you can slowly kind of like angle it up like this. Okay, and you can see how it's just releasing itself very easily. And there we go. Okay, so they do have paste on here. The paste doesn't look bad. So I think they applied new paste here. Yeah, it definitely looks like new paste. So I'm gonna just put a blob, make it blob up in the center, and then try and get this paste. Actually, this paste looks kind of not good. So maybe I should clean it up and then put completely new paste. I don't know. Yeah, it looks, I don't know. I'm just going to clean it off so I can do a better thermal paste job, I think. It doesn't seem too bad, but I'm not sure if there's enough to be able to coat the whole thing. So let's go ahead and clean it off, and then I'm going to put my paste because I don't know what their paste is and I don't know if mixing it will be a good idea. Okay, so we're just going to wipe this paste off here. Okay, that one's all clean. Let's go ahead and do the GPU. Okay, getting it. It's like a interesting brownish gray colored paste. I'm gonna have to use a toothbrush and stuff to get in between these little resistors or capacitors or whatever they are. And usually I'll also have to use the pokey end of this to kind of get in between and kind of just scrape it out, and then use the toothbrush to clear up the rest. You can see how we can kind of scrape in between these. Okay. And after I kind of scrape this all up, I'll use the toothbrush over my trash can to just get all of this out. You don't really need to get all of this out, but I feel it's better to not have this thermally conductive material right in between all this stuff. Okay. Okay, got most of it out. All right, now I'm gonna use this one more time to go around. This is just paper towel. Go around the edges, get all that gunk out. Okay. All right, let me clean this gunk out with the toothbrush real quick. Sorry you can't see, but hopefully you can get the idea and hear what's going on. Okay, here you can see it's a lot cleaner now. Alright. Here's this random like thermal pad stuff that's coming out. I don't have replacement thermal pads, so we're sadly going to have to reuse this. But this one does seem like crusty. Yeah, that's kind of stuck on there. I don't think I can take that out. Okay, so now all that's left to do, we gotta clean it up a little bit more. We'll clean off the heatsink as well, and then we're gonna have to redo the thermal paste. So I'll clean this up. Clean that up. Alright, fold it over, clean it up some more. Alright, get the CPU. Alright, there we go. Now we're just going to get some isopropyl alcohol and then clean it one last time. Let's actually zoom out here. Get some isopropyl alcohol onto a piece of paper towel, and we're just going to wipe this up. And use the dry side. Same thing over here. Okay. Same thing over here. Let's get a little more isopropyl alcohol in there. Okay, dry it up. Right, and the CPU. All right, there we go. So I'll get the dust off. Okay, good. Good. All right, let's reapply the thermal paste and we should be good to go. All right, so for the thermal paste here, this one, because it's so long, we need to make like a long line here. Just like that, and that's actually quite a lot. The thermal paste, it squishes super flat, so you don't need a crazy amount. It's gonna smush super flat and then it will spread it across. Okay. On the CPU you can put more just to make sure, okay? And also because it will bow out, if you want, you can put a tiny bit on the corners to make it help get the edges. Alright, if you want, you can put like a tiny bit on the corner like this, towards the corners. Just a tiny bit. Okay. And then when it smushes out, it'll smush it across, okay? So same thing with this one. We'll need quite a bit more because it's a much bigger square. Okay, like that. Same thing, try to get it centered. And then we'll put some on the corners. That's quite a bit on the corners. Okay. Just like that. All right. That way, once the heatsink smushes down, the portion here will turn into a big circle, and then this will fill in the other corners. That's not quite centered. All right, so there we go. And actually, that's quite a lot in the center here. So, didn't need quite that much, but it's okay. All right, there we go. Let's go ahead and zoom out and then get the heatsink back on and get this all back together. So, this piece, the other thing is make sure the fan connectors go back underneath the motherboard, okay? So lift that, make sure the fan connectors go under, okay. Then we'll slowly, carefully lower this down. All right, and again, they do have numbers here. So number 1 is right there. And I'm only gonna twist it. So we'll go backwards to here, click, like that. And then 1, 2, 3. Okay, second screw's over here. Twist it backwards till it clicks. 1, 2, 3, okay. Third one's over here. Click, 1, 2, 3. Fourth one is over here. 1, 2, 3. Fifth one is over here. 1, 2, 3. Sixth one is under here. 1, 2, 3. Seventh one is over here. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Eighth one is over here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 9th one is over here. 1, 2, 3. 10th one is over here. 1, 2, 3. All right, we're gonna go again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oops. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, let's go back down and tighten it all the way now. First one. Second one. Third one. Fourth one. Fifth one. Sixth one. Okay, 7th one. 8th one. 9th one. And 10th one. And there we go. Let's go ahead and reconnect the fan connections. Alright, so get this in. Also, if you're wondering which fan is which, okay, let me show you here. So this fan, which it was the bad one, was the, oh shoot, that was the CPU. That was the CPU. The GPU was the one with the large die. So CPU here, so the CPU fan was bad, and then this is the GPU fan, okay? All right, let's go ahead and get this thing reassembled now. So basically just redo everything in reverse. Okay, we'll get this piece here. And zoom back out. All right, we're gonna line this up. Oh, it's a little dusty under here, so let's clean that. Okay, so we'll just lower this into place, make sure all the cables are out of the way, and make sure we didn't forget anything underneath. I don't think so. Okay, so slowly lower this, make sure all the cables end up back on top that need to go back on top. So these need to go back. We might be able to do it anyways afterwards. Okay, line up the little pokey thing here, and the one on this side as well. There we go. Okay, then we'll pull these cables back on top. So 3 of these, okay. Make sure the fans line back up, good. Okay, so first things first, we'll put this one. Okay, there technically isn't a specific order you need to do this. All right. We'll get the screw in, make sure that lines up. Okay. And then the other screw down here. Alright, we'll get the speaker connector back in, just line it up, and then pinch the 2 pieces together, just like that. Okay, we got, let me see, should I zoom in for all these? I'll try. I'm going to end up knocking stuff over. Okay, we got this connector for the keyboard backlight connections, all right. Get that lined up, push that in, and latch that down. All right, then we got the touchpad connector here, get that in. Okay, make sure the wings go in all the way of the connector. Okay, and also make sure it goes in straight, then latch that down, good. All right, what else we got? We got this connector over here for the power button. Flip that latch up, get underneath there, get that in, perfect, latch that down. We got the connector here for the wireless antennas, so we'll get that in. End up knocking stuff over, okay. This goes in here, and then this goes underneath the fan. Underneath there. And then same thing, gray one here. Okay, click it down. Make sure that it's latched in place. The way you know is you can see how it's moving around right now. If you get it right on top, can see now it doesn't move, and then you can click it down. All right, there we go. I'm gonna go ahead and put back in this first. All right, that's the wireless antenna bracket holder, whatever thing. Okay, now we're gonna go over here and reattach this cable. Okay. And this cable can only drop in one way. You actually feel it fall into place. Let's take this screw out, okay. And then you can actually feel it fall into place and it won't move around, okay. All right, there we go. Okay, what's next? The DC jack charge port connector here. Just have it go back over there. Line this up. You might have to pull it further down this way. Okay, and then again, pinch both sides. Make sure it's in. Perfect. If the fan is still going crazy after all of this, then I don't know if the person damaged something else, but anyways. Let's go ahead and line this up. What I mean by going crazy is not the sound, but what I mean is if it's spinning at full speed right away. All right, we'll latch this back down. Okay, don't forget this little cable here as well. Make sure it goes in straight, and pinch the whole thing back in. Okay, looks good. All right, we can put back this tape, although I don't know if it's doing anything because the thing you want to tape up is here, not this. So I'm going to fold that back actually, and we're going to tape this down here. Okay, because what you want to tape down is that little latch so it doesn't flip back up. Okay, anyways, we're going to get this plastic thing back here. I'm going to loosely fit the screw first until we have all three in, and then we'll tighten it down. Okay, just like that. Alright, then, oh, I should not have put this back yet. I think there's one screw under there I need to take out, or put in, so let's take this back out. Yep. Okay, don't forget this screw that goes underneath there. Okay, then we got the one fan screw here, and the other fan screw up in this corner. All right, now let's reattach the DC jack charge port. Pinch that back in, perfect. Okay, SSD, I believe was this way. There's actually two slots for SSDs. This is the first slot, the second slot's on this side, okay, facing the other way. Anyway, so we'll get this back in. Then we got all these other screws here for this board. Oh, I can't see all of them. Let me zoom out. Alright, got this one. And we got this one. And we got this one. We got this one. Okay, got this one. And we got the last fan screw up here. Okay, then we got the last three screws up here for the board. one. This one. This one. Okay, then we got the battery. Sorry, can you even see? I don't know. Goes in like this. Make sure to get the little raised points over the bottom two sides there. Okay. Then we have these screws. Again, one screw seems to be missing from here, but shouldn't be an issue because this battery is just connected by this cable. So even if the battery could move a tiny bit, which it can't with all these screws, it won't affect anything. All right, we got the 4 screws at the bottom here. Okay, and the last one. All right, let's go ahead and get the back plate, ports, cover, whatever you want to call this on. So line this up and kind of wiggle this into place. All right, then we got this light bar connector that we got to get back in and pinch that into place. Good. It does have adhesive a little bit, so stick back down. Then now we get the battery. Reconnect that. You can actually go ahead and put these screws in. I'm going to loosely fit these screws first. Oops, can't even see what I'm doing. So loosely fit these screws in first. Then we'll get the screws on the back. Okay. And now we can go ahead and tighten them all down. Last one. That down, tighten this down. Alright, tighten these 2 corner ones. I think the customer might have mixed up some screws here. Oh wait, no. Yeah. Let me see here. I think the person that worked on it mixed up these screws, because these are silver and all the rest in the back were silver. They had these black ones on top, but I'm pretty sure the black ones go here. So I'm going to put the black screws here, okay? Because I'm pretty sure that's how it's supposed to be, and the person that did it earlier mixed up the screws. Alright, let's power it on and see if the fans go crazy. Hopefully at least it doesn't make the buzzing sound. Oh, one other thing to take note of. The main battery acts as the CMOS BIOS RTC real-time clock battery. So if you notice, the keyboard's shining all rainbow and then it shuts off. It's going to do that a few times. Don't worry about it. That's normal. Okay. Also, if you notice, there's no replaceable RAM on this motherboard. So here you can see it's starting up. The fan's spinning full speed, but it's not making the buzzing sound. So I don't know why it's spinning full speed though. We're going to go to the BIOS setup and reset stuff, and let's see if that does anything. Yeah, I don't know why the fans are just going full speed crazy. There must be a thermal sensor or something screwed up. I'm going to restore defaults. Load optimize defaults. And save changes and reset. I don't think this one has that setting to run the fans full speed like that. At least I don't see which option does that. Okay, it's sounding normal right now. You can see the fans spinning. Is it going to go crazy once it boots up? It's going faster. Okay, it's not as crazy as it was before, so I think that should be good. There you go, it's slowing down. Okay, so I think we got it. If for some reason it's still going crazy, that means the CPU would need to be replaced. Or not the CPU fan would need to be replaced. So, yeah, I think we're good to go. You can see it's on. The fans slowed down. They're not going crazy anymore. Oh, I guess his battery died too. So I'm going to have to ask him to bring his charger. Anyways, let's go ahead and put the bottom cover back on. So the bottom cover, it has these little kind of, or maybe it doesn't. I thought it had these feet that you have to slide in. But this, oh, the feet are on this side. So when you do this, you need to slide, oh, I put it upside down. You need to slide this in, okay? I was wondering, I was like, where are the little feet? So slide that in because it tucks under. So make sure, I mean, if you already tried to lift it up, you'd know that you have to slide it out this way, okay? Hopefully you didn't break those things off. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and get these screws back in. I'm gonna have to ask the customer to bring back their charger because they didn't bring that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. All right, if you can't help out that way, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. Other than that, I do have another channel called It's Been Reviewed and More. Basically the same profile picture but zoomed in. I'm trying to put all my review videos there instead of having them on this channel. But if you don't care, yeah. But it will help me a lot if you like and subscribe on that channel as well. Anyways, there you go. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, let's drop this. Bye.